Hey, Niecia here to introduce you to November's pose of the month, which is standing forward fold or Uttanasana. Uttanasana is not only a foundational pose, but a wonderful stretch, full stretch for the back body from your heels all the way through your neck. Typically, Uttanasana or standing forward fold is used as a transition pose, but this month I hope that we can take some time to linger in it to really experience some of its full benefits. On the energetic side, I selected this pose because it's all about turning inward, drawing your awareness inward. So just like the trees are shedding its leaves and returning all of its energy back down to its roots, I wanted us to embody that action this month in forward fold. So as you fold into yourself, I ask for you to draw all of your awareness internally and just take a note on what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. Use it as an opportunity to give yourself, and your back in particular, just a little bit of relief. So let's jump into how we get into this shape. So I'm going to be turned sideways on my mat today. And the way that we start forward fold is from mountain pose. So in mountain pose, you're rooting down in all four corners of your feet. You're engaging your core, which means you slide the tailbone ever so slightly under, lower belly lifts up, and you hug your heels in together energetically. They're not going to move, but you want that engagement to really turn on the thighs here. Inhale the shoulders up, back, and down. Maybe you turn your palms out right here. Take an inhale and think about lengthening through the tailbone. So it's a axial extension where you're pulling your spine up and down, or down, maybe away. You're pulling out of your spine. There we go, Niecia. You're drawing out of your pelvic bone, out into your spine, and finding length all the way up through the neck, creating some space between each of the vertebrae. Again, as I root down, drawing up nice and long, and I want to begin to hinge, not from my shoulders slumping over here, but I want to hinge from the waist, okay? So one way that I make sure that I'm hinging from my waist and not from my shoulders is I take my thumbs and I place them in my hip creases right here. I inhale and I draw out of the spine, and then I begin to hinge forward. So I'm drawing my spine really long, like I'm trying to reach towards the wall in front of me as I begin to forward fold. Now, right here is about where I know that I need to bend my knees. So I bend my knees a little bit, or you can bend your knees a lot of it, and I continue my journey down. Eventually, my hands will come to the mat or blocks. I find some space between my feet to get settled. Inhale here, lengthen up from tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. And as I exhale, I fold just a little bit deeper. I'm being very intentional about sending my tailbone closer towards the sky as I hinge deeper from the hips, drawing my belly closer to my thighs. From here, you can keep the hands planted on the mat. Maybe you bring them to a block. I like to keep mine pointed on the mat. And then you'll notice that I just dropped my head, right? I want to experience that lengthening all the way through my neck, which means that instead of holding my neck up here, I need to let it go and find a gaze down and maybe between my legs. As you're exiting this pose, you might bend just a little bit deeper. You can begin to walk your hands up, up, up until you return to your mountain pose again. Now, you guys know how much I love using props, so today I'm going to show you how to incorporate your blocks into your forward fold. Now, when we're hinging forward or trying to move towards the ground, we all know that some days the ground can feel really far away, and using blocks is a great way to bring the ground closer to us. I'm going to place my blocks here on the high setting to start with and find my forward fold from here. So I'm going to inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. I am rooted and grounded in all four corners of my feet here. I'm hugging my heels in towards one another just to engage the thighs a bit, which also brings my tailbone down instead of sticking out, bringing it down just a tiny bit, and I feel my core turn on. Inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. I enjoy turning my palms out, so I also feel this stretch across the collarbone. Inhale right here, and let it go. Inhale and release. Now, I like to put my thumbs in my hip creases to remind me to fold out of the waist, out of the pelvic bone, as opposed to slumping from my shoulders. So inhale here, and as I exhale, I begin to hinge forward. You'll notice I already start to put a little micro bend in my knee. And instead of reaching towards the ground, I'm going to come right here to my blocks and hang out here. Inhale, I'm sending my tailbone up closer towards the sky. And as I exhale, I'm sinking my belly closer to my thighs. You can also set the blocks on its lowest setting or its medium setting. If you have low back issues or you've had any back injury, it might be more helpful for you to stay in more of a halfway lift situation as opposed to coming all the way down to forward fold. So for you, in your forward fold, it may look like keeping the blocks on the highest setting and staying right here in this halfway lift. I'm still sending my tailbone up a bit, core is still engaged, but this is what feels good right here. Or maybe you need to walk your hands up just a bit and come to somewhere between standing and a forward fold. Always the shoulders are drawn away from the ears, and you can hang out right here. I hope that this helps, and I'm excited to see you on the mat. Enjoy.